Hello, welcome to Career with Chow. Today's video after War30. War30 is sponsored by Gina K. We had sent this Radiant Rose layering bundle. The bundle is not available anymore, but you could purchase each part separately on Gina K's website. If you missed War30 live, make sure you go catch the replay after this video. We have special guest Gina K join us. She also made 2 cards with the sabotage. We had so much fun. This is one of the best War yet. So during War, this is the 2 cards I made. One is monotone card, and the other one is using acetate for smacking method. We had so much fun, and I'm trying something new. This is a 2 card I'm going to show you how to make. One is using pigment ink for white rose and add a color, and the other one is use pigment ink with Peral Ex to make a more vibrant color on the black cardstock. Using Hero Hues Unicorn White to layer my white pigment ink on top of my black cardstock using the finger dabber. I found that the best method to layer pigment ink on a white cardstock over stencil is to dab it. And once you finish dabbing it, remove the stencil carefully because pigment ink laid on top of cardstock. I use a heat gun to dry it before I move to the lead part of the stencil. Now I'm carefully laying the second part of the stencil, make sure they match up, and start dabbing with my white pigment ink. Now I'm carefully laying the lead stencil and match up to my rose, and then start dabbing my unicorn white on it. And I want to make sure all my ink are dry because I'll be using Caterpillar Deck the Hall green to add some green to the lead. The pigment ink will mute the green a little bit down. Now I finished blending the green on top of the stencil lead. I just use the heat gun to dry it up. While waiting for it to dry, I clean my stencil and move to the second card. the stencil, you can use both sides of the stencil. You could see from my sample, I made one rosary facing the left and I made one facing the right. The second card, I want to make sure I get plenty of white pigment ink onto my rose stencil part because I want to add Peral Ex powder on top of it before it dries. So I want to make sure I ink down the pigment ink very juicy. While it was still wet, I started laying down good amount of Pearl Ex powder on the top. Use a small blending brush, gently kind of push over the white pigment ink. You don't want to push too hard, and that will mess up. The pigment ink is still wet. Then I gently tap it off and use a clean brush to wipe out any excess powder. After I clean out all the excess mica powder on it, I gently lay down my second layer of the stencil, the lead, and start dabbing white pigment ink into the stencil part. And make sure it's wet. Gently remove the stencil. I have to remember the pigment ink is still wet, so I have to be very careful. And then laying down the green mica powder on the top. Use a brush, gently brush on it and tap out excess, and use a clean brush to brush off any loose powder. Now I finished. Just do the same thing with the sentiment. I stamp my sentiment down with unicorn white ink and then use the gold Pearl Ex powder on the top for my sentiment. Because the pigment ink is still wet, that's why the mica powder stick to it. And technically you don't have to seal because it's already glued down to the pigment ink. Just to be on the safe side, I use a hairspray to spray on it, make sure that I don't get any loose powder. Here I just went back to my first card, just used the unicorn white to stamp down my sentiment, and I think that's what I leave it. I didn't do anything special to it. I'm gluing down my card panel to my white card base because I'm using black cardstock, and I just adding some gem to give it a finished touch. As always, our After STEM World follow-up video have giveaway. Make sure you go catch all the video for your chance to win. Have to be US resident 18 over only. My question for you to comment is, I made total of 4 cards. 2 of them are white pigment ink, and one of them is blue mica powder, and one is pink. Which one color is your favorite? I hope my video had inspired you. If you need to go shopping, please use the link that I have provided down in the description box below. And thank you. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.